Well, howdy, nearly senior citizen here. Greetings, boys, girls, and all of our non-binary friends, and welcome to this brand new day wherein I am in a hurry. It is 8:25, and I have therapy at 9 o'clock. This is going to be uploaded late. I'm not even going to have a chance to edit this, I think, before I have to be ready and available for my therapist. And then I have another appointment later on with the VA. I scheduled 2 appointments for today with the VA, and they both ended up at the same time. So yesterday or the day before, I called up the number for the pain clinic at the Veterans Administration and said I had 2 appointments. I can't have this one, I need to reschedule. Haven't heard back from them, so I don't know if they properly canceled it or if I'm going to get a notice saying, hey, you missed your appointment. So, maybe I'm going to try and call them again, see today if it's all properly canceled. My arm is actually doing really good. It's just tired, but past that, it doesn't feel bad. I mean, it feels bad, but comparatively, I can feel the line running through my arm of the nerve, but I can use it. Well, point my hand up as far as this one goes. I can use it. I'm doing this sort of stuff to exercise as I'm out walking, and I'm using my arm, and it's working out well. It's not great. Last night I have to sleep on my side, propped up with just a rolled up thing. Like if you watch my videos when I was in bed, that's still all I can use is a pillow. And if I don't have a pillow in front of me with a pillow over the top of me, partially on that other pillow with my arm propped up on it, oh my God, it is just death. So this morning I woke up, my arm had partially slipped from back here, the back part of the pillow, to the front part of the pillow. Ow! Oh, that was rough. So I had to move my arm back out this way and then let it sit. So it ain't great, because again, we're just treating the symptoms. The symptoms with ibuprofen, which I have started taking less of. I have stopped taking acetaminophen entirely, like a week and some back. And I am taking less ibuprofen because number one, I want to not destroy my liver, and number two, I want to not destroy my kidneys. And so I am working my way to, I don't have it in here because I took it immediately upon waking up and I had it in my bedroom and it still is in there, primarily the gabapentin for the nerve pain. I can't touch like back here without a lot of ouchies, so I gotta be careful. And I have, just touching the nerve, more than just a light touch like this on either side is ow. And these muscles are still just tight as piano strings, and it still feels like I've been smacked with a hammer, but it's less. It's less. The symptoms are clearing up. The muscle stuff is really clearing. This part isn't. This is a nerve issue. But where I've got like the rotator cuff tendonitis stuff and anything else that is the stuff like that, that part's getting better. The nerve pain part of it is handled by the gabapentin. Unfortunately, these, like where the muscles are super tight, I can't do much about that. Except not smacking against things. Back before, when my hand was recovering from being just dead, and these muscles were like guitar strings there, I accidentally walked into the corner of a door frame, whack, right into them. For over an hour, from right here to up here, was absolute torture. Oh my God, it was bad. So I am very careful ever since that day. Things are getting better. They aren't great. My MRI is coming up, and I got that appointment today, so that's good. Things are. Checking my list over here to make sure. 1 One of the things that happened this morning was something that I am not beating myself up about, but I gotta make sure that I am a lot more careful. I noticed that my kitty was down here on the floor, concerned with something and trying to eat it. So I pushed her away and took a look at it, and it was a caffeine tablet. A 200 milligram caffeine tablet. That would have been very bad had she actually managed to eat it. So I think that's the only caffeine tablet I have dropped. I need to check the floors to make sure, and then absolutely make sure that that doesn't happen again. Holy smokes. And then, yesterday, I did a big walkies. I made the loop through southern Shelton, and then came down, walked up behind the library, and today I'm going to be editing the video that I recorded yesterday. It's still largely what I posted the other day, because it's still just the same stream, but I tried to record different things, and I had a big emphasis on recording sound for the burbling brooks and the birds and stuff like that. So I tried to make it a different focus, but it is only the same trail. I mean, it only takes like 15 minutes to walk if you walk quickly. I mean, it's nice, but it's not huge. I don't really know of any other good forest trails in town. I'm going to have to look and find things. I don't want to go on ones where they're not really official. And there's a lot of unofficial trails, but they're ones that run like almost through people's yards. So don't want to be doing that. And, oh yes, after the 6 mile walkies, when I got back, I sat in my chair. I had such horrific staying awake problems after that. It was hours of my trying to watch the same video, a Gray Still Plays video, where he does a lot of GTA 5 challenges done by some people that he pays to make maps for him. But I kept falling asleep through that for hours. When I finally was able to wake up and get up and start moving, I could not make my brain or body function for a long time. Obviously, I stopped breathing while I was sleeping. Since I have apnea, not just sleep apnea. I mean, I stop breathing while I'm sleeping all the time. That's why I have my sleep apnea machine, which is a variable positive air pressure. It's just a mask with a hose that hooks it to a machine, and it is pumping air through that tube into my face at all times. I stop breathing during the daytime even when I'm not asleep. I'll just notice that I'm feeling really, really shy of air. I have to manually breathe for like 30 to 40, 50 some odd seconds, and then my body takes over again. So yeah, I stop breathing when I'm sleeping, and that is not a good thing. That's true. It is. My fan is going in the window, and I'm wearing this at the same time. Yay! It makes sense. It doesn't make sense. I'm just me. Let me take a look at what else I have here. Anything at all. There's one game that I have been reading the rules on. It's on Kickstarter, and so they're just releasing some things. There's like the first dungeon that they have released is 2d6 dungeon. It's like, I don't have it out anymore, but the game Note Quest, where you travel into, dungeon crawling and you take on monsters and you map out things. This is much like that, except more dungeon crawly, less you have to make your decisions, and more there are rules. And yet at the same time, they also say there are things that will happen outside the rules. You have to use your common sense. If you want to carry along the liquid, you need a container. You don't have a container, you can't do it. You can make containers. If you find things like pillows things that it describes as just, hey, this is a bedroom. There's a bed. Well, you tear apart the pillow and you want to make bandages. Realistically, you can only make 1 or 2 bandages, but yeah, you can take the game description of a bedroom and use it inventively to continue your game. And it goes on like that. There's a lot of little things like that. There's a lot of major things. It's pretty good so far. I'd like to show that one off as well. There are so many I'd like to show off. I don't know if I have it right down here yet. Because I've got a lot of games that I want to do, and I have a lot of executive function issues, one of the things I've been thinking of doing is some of the channels out there, either through PDF or an actual physical book, is when they get an RPG thing out, they will physically go through it almost page by page talking about it. And their thoughts about the mechanics of the thing. They just want to give an overview for people, whether or not you want to get it more in depth than I ever would. But I have been thinking, since I really like what I have seen on games like Ancient Odysseys, Treasure Awaits, and the companion volume, More Treasure Awaits, what I've been thinking of doing is, first off, doing a overview and character creation video for like Treasure Awaits or any of these other things up here, and then afterward I can do the actual here's the game where we're trying out the mechanics video. And so I'm hoping to do that. That would be a very, very good thing. I think so anyway. On my list here, there is absolutely nothing that I have left. I spent most of my time either vlogging and then getting ready to go walkies and then going walkies and then falling asleep and then editing my walkies video from a couple days back and then uploading it, and then when it was all done it was like 9 o'clock at night. So I didn't get much of anything at all done trying to play video games before I go to bed. And of course, if you want to sleep, there are video games that you shouldn't be playing because they get your body revved up into fight or flight mode. If you play a first-person shooter, don't do that before bed. You're putting your body into fight or flight mode. You're pumped up. You're not going to be able to sleep. You want something more laid back. City builder, strategy stuff. Try that. But the stuff that gets your heart pumping hard and you're shooting, yeah, you don't really want to do that. There is one game, though, that I take 200 milligram caffeine tablets before I go to bed so I can sleep. So I'm playing this one game, and I am just in a perfect position, sniping the whole map. Everything is running over to get me, but that just brings my attention to them and spatch. So it was pretty fun. Checking my time, it is 13 minutes, and since I have therapy in less than 20 minutes, and I have the laptop here that has a pretty good camera and such. I mean, it's not great, but it works well for things like video conferences. And I have 2 things where I have taped together 3 empty Kleenex boxes as a foundational base. 2 other tissue boxes to stack on top of that. I have my laptop computer on top of the RPG game board with hexes on one side and squares on the other, just so it has a support to rest on. And I have to set that up on top of the tissue boxes so that my video camera goes right at my face instead of like looking up my nose. And then of course that's great because I've got the power cable hanging off of it, and I've got a USB hub hanging off of it, and in the back there's an HDMI cable hanging off of it, so I got to make sure each of those isn't stressing the laptop off too much as it sits there. Yay! Past that, I really don't have anything. I've even thought about this one. I have been trying to think about things in a creative fashion, but with all of the panic and the static and the little bit of room that's not panic and static being used to try and get into contact with things and break through my executive function issues and try not to end up just on the street, there's not really a whole lot of room for the creative stuff. I've been trying. Oh God, have I been trying. So later on today, I'm probably going to make a special pleading, talking about my GoFundMe, and somebody in comments says, make a community post about it, and that's a good idea. I should do that. So I've gotten a lot of people. The last time I looked, it was close to $700 that's been donated, and that's good. If I can get a storage unit, and if I can stay in like a hotel room, then that's already there. Now, I need to get a little bit more so that I can, what is the word? There's transport to get moved, and then I have to get the U-Haul, which again I've talked about is several $100s to get a U-Haul, at least here in Shelton. I mean, they literally will not allow you to get one of their vehicles unless you get their insurance. And the insurance is expensive. So, yay. So I've got a large portion of it. I just have to figure out how I'm going to get most of my stuff into there and then over to that storage unit that I managed to find. And of course, I still have to go through and just throw out stuff. Static, panic, tiny, tiny, tiny little spaces between the cracks where I'm working to try and get things fixed so that I don't end up on the street. Hopefully, if I do end up in a hotel room, that will qualify as homeless for the VA. I don't want to be in literally having to stay on the street for 24 hours. Anyway, I have 15 minutes before therapy starts, so until we meet again, you take care. Have a great day today. I will see you on the flip side, and that indeed is a very, very good thing. A definite thumbs up. Now, of course, I need to turn on my controller, and then, yeah. So, you take care, and I will see you, my friend.